Hey everyone, welcome back to the CVCS Athletics Podcast. I'm your host for today, Katelyn, and today we have two very special guests joining us. They both play for the CVCS varsity baseball team, so please welcome Lance Stoll and Dom French. Hey guys.
How's it going?
Hi.
Okay, starting off, how would you both describe this season so far?
You want to go for it.
I'll
Kick us
start
off.
off. I think it's definitely been interesting to start out. We've kind of had some guys dealing with injuries, so some guys have had to step up, and they definitely have, been like piecing together wins.
Yeah, if I had to describe it in one word, I'd say adapting. Is that one word?
That's
adapt.
a good word.
I'd probably say adapt.
Yeah, I'd say that's one word.
Yeah, that's one way to describe it. But, personally, I was out for a whole week with that flu. We had Gabe out, Dom out.
Yeah.
My guy right here, Dom, he was out. Who else was out? D-Money.
Yeah, D-Mon was out.
We had a lot of guys out, man. But you know what? We're playing some good baseball right now. The win column doesn't exactly show it, but you're going to start seeing it pretty soon.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we know you guys have only played a few games into the season, but you guys have been practicing since summer. So how do you see that extra practice has helped your game?
Yeah, I think baseball, it's definitely a sport where it takes dedication. There's so many different parts of it. Like, it's one of the hardest things to do is hit a baseball. And,
Amen.
There's just a lot that goes into it, like all the different bunt coverages and all the plays that we run. So, you just got to really get it down.
Yeah, and one thing that I think kind of goes unnoticed is how much of a team sport baseball is, And one of the reasons why we practice, so early before season is just, the guys get to know each other and really gel before we actually embark on the long season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, what is your guys' favorite part about being on the varsity team?
You want to go? You want me to go?
You can start off this
Okay,
one.
I'll kick this one off. I'm going to have to go with Michael Vukic. Now, that might sound a little weird. Wow, why is he naming one person? And it's just the enthusiasm. We got some great guys throughout the whole program, and everyone is very enthusiastic in the way they play. But, nothing really tops Michael Vukic.
Yeah, Michael, he can definitely be out there sometimes, I'd say, the entire senior class especially, playing with them the last couple years, on varsity, we've definitely become tight, and I really wouldn't want to do it anywhere else. So,
Amen.
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys have one of your favorite memories from past seasons or this season?
You can kick us off.
Yeah, I think, steak and beans every year is definitely always
Amen.
exciting.
Yeah.
That's a fun one.
It's like a playoff atmosphere, even though it's a preseason inter-squad.
Yeah, nothing really beats steak and beans, man. I'll tell you what. Earlier this year, early this season, last week, 2 weeks ago, we beat Santa Fe, in a walk-off.
Oh,
That
fun.
those are always fun.
Yeah.
You can't really beat that. But there's a lot of memories to come.
For sure. Okay, how does your faith influence the way you play baseball?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a big part of it because, baseball, it really is a game of failure, and that can definitely get to you sometimes. And I think, having God and remembering that, our worth isn't in our athletic achievements, it's actually in God, and He doesn't care if we go 0 for 4 on the day or 4 for 4 on the day. We're still the same in His eyes.
Yeah.
Dude, that's amazing. That's honestly perfect. That's the way I try to view it as well. I had a pretty bad back injury when I was 13. I couldn't really walk for a couple of years. And so I went from all I did was play baseball to absolutely nothing, sitting there all day. And so that was a really tough time for me. But I think that's really where my faith grew in the end, in the long run, because I really had to rely on my relationship with Jesus. And so I think that now, especially when I play, I just try to play for His glory instead of mine. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that. You just found your identity where it's been placed.
thank you.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. Did you have a Bible verse or something you kept on telling yourself over and over again during that time?
Ooh.
You too, Tom. A Bible verse that helps you with your season?
Yeah, I'll kick this one off because I actually wrote it on my shoe. As Katelyn has seen it, she actually has one at her house from a teeping incident. We're not going to talk about that. But, so I wrote Luke 1:37 on my shoe, which is for with Christ, nothing shall be impossible. Mm-hmm. And, it's kind of a little generic, but it meant a lot to me just because when I couldn't play baseball, I was thinking when I get back, nothing's going to be impossible. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, one for me is Joshua 1:9. you know, like be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And I mean, like that one on the baseball field, like you just kind of remember, like, I got God with me, like, and kind of tying back to what I said, like my worth is with God too, like not in my performance. So, yeah.
Amen.
Those are both really great verses.
Thank you.
And then what goals do you guys have for the rest of the season?
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
You start off.
Okay. Well, we actually were talking about this yesterday after the Corona Del Mar game. Chach brought it up that, a little bit of a teeny bit of a rough start, but, there's a lot of good things going on. And if we were, to go on a run here, go 15-4, heck, dare I say 16-3, we could be setting a school record. And so he's saying, like, we're not out of it, and we're gonna lock it in here. And I think we're gonna start seeing some wins in that column.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like baseball, it's definitely a game where anything can happen. And like some of the worst teams at the beginning of the season will be the best at the end.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's hot in here, I'll tell you what. This is it's a nice studio, but it's getting toasty.
Oh, okay. What's been the best advice that you've ever heard from Chach? It doesn't have to be from Chach, but I know Chach is like your best mentor and coach. So, what's...
I'm going to have to paraphrase this one. It was from, good coach Josue. I can't – if you know him, you know that he's got a lot of good things coming from him. But to paraphrase this if I can, let me think here. You got to play with a lot of hearts. He didn't say it exactly like that, but it was basically saying, like, you got to relax and be confident in the person that you are when you go on that field, You're not thinking about your swing, not thinking about, oh, shoot, what if I make an error right here? Like, you're going out there and, as he put it, like, I'm freaking Josue, man. Like, that's what you got to be thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Josue, he's always saying that, But one thing that Chach, he's always kind of told everyone is adapt and pivot.
Ooh.
That's
Anticipate, maybe.
Yeah, that's another thing too. But we'll get into that a different time.
Okay.
Okay.
That's great.
And then, what is one life lesson that baseball has taught you?
I mean, I guess, yeah, like the adapt and pivot. That's like baseball. You can do everything right, but it can still not go your way. So you just got to keep moving forward and just trust your training and just never give up.
Yeah, I'm going to say perseverance. I think that's a word that definitely comes to mind. Not to beat a dead horse, but, with my back, man, that's one thing that, it taught me was perseverance. And then, when you look at it like, even just yesterday or 2 days ago, when USA was playing Italy in the World Baseball Classic, they were down, what was it, 8-0?
I believe so.
Something of that nature, a great deal. They were down. And then the last inning, they put up 7. They didn't win that game. But, man, they fought hard in the end. I think that's what it's taught me.
That's awesome.
How do your teammates influence you on the field? Like, is there something you've learned from them, taken away from them?
I mean, I think that this team, like, we're really tight, and I feel like these guys, you can tell them anything, and they'll listen. And they're always going to have your back, Like, you have a bad day, they're going to be there for you. Like, they're always praying for each other. So I think that's one thing that I really like about this team.
Yeah, dude, I totally agree with that. And, like, another thing, the reason why we start so early in the year is because these guys really become your brothers. And I think that's something that you can't really get anywhere else other than playing sports. You know what I mean? Like this guy right here to my right, this is my surfing partner. He and I will go out there and we'll, catch some waves or whatever. And it's like, if I didn't play baseball, who knows where that would have been? You know what I mean? So these guys really they truly become your brothers. You can tell them anything. And, yeah.
Totally.
That's awesome. Okay, Lance, this is a question for you. Since you're a catcher.
On the spot. All right.
How do you interact with the umpire before a game just so, like, that, like, or he knows that you've got his back?
Exactly. So, first thing, this is if you're a catcher in baseball, I don't care if you're 8U or 25 playing, independent ball or whatever, this is something that has to be done. Dom used to catch, too, so he knows what I'm about to say. Okay. You run out there, right, full sprint, because we hustle on and off the field, right? And first thing you do, you give him a firm handshake, okay? I mean, just total connection, firm handshake. That lets him know that you're about it, okay? And you tell him, hello, sir, I'm Lance. It's a pleasure to meet you. He tells you your name. and you say, I will protect you today. That's what you tell him, straight to his face, right there. And that gives him a sense of, confidence in you. When he's squatting behind you, I mean, we got guys like Brett, he can run it up to low 90s there. And so, the only thing between him and that 90-mile-an-hour fastball coming towards him is a catcher. Yeah. So you got to try and give him, some confidence there.
Yeah, I mean, you protect him, he might help you out in return.
Yeah, amen.
Yeah. What advice would you guys give to younger players?
I mean, I think just really, trust God's plan. That's one thing that we do, a devotion before a game, once a week, and that's what I actually spoke about last week.
Amen.
And I mean, throughout my baseball career, I've dealt with lots of injuries and just kind of things haven't gone my way sometimes. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, when you trust God, it definitely helps you out. It gives you more of a peace, and you can kind of go out there and play freely and just realize that it's all in His hands.
Amen, dude. Spoken amazingly. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I coach a little bit on the side. I got a couple kids that I work with, and hit me up for any lessons. But to continue, one thing that I really try to instill in the kids is that it's a game. At the end of the day, you know what? We're going out there and we're playing a game. It's supposed to be fun. Mm-hmm. So, whether you're hot at the plate, you're in a little bit of a drought, or, whatever's going on in life. But when you step out on that field, you're there to have fun, right? We're there to win, right? But it's hard to win if you're not having fun. You know what I mean? You play relaxed. So that's what I try to tell them.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, well, Dom and Lance, thank you so much for joining us today. We loved having you. It's been awesome to hear your heart for this team and what God has done and will do for your team this season.
And to everyone listening, thank you for tuning in to the CVCS Athletics Podcast, and be sure to follow along for more stories from our athletes and coaches as we continue to celebrate the heart, hard work, and faith behind CVCS sports. This has been the CVCS Athletics Podcast, where we play for a higher purpose.
This episode has been a production of the Capistrano Valley Christian Schools Podcast Network. CVCS is a Christian TK through 12 school in San Juan Capistrano, California. Please visit cvcs.org/podcasts to listen to the variety of shows our students produce on our campus. You can also find all of our shows on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and others. We would also appreciate you subscribing to and leaving a review of this show and the other shows on our network in your podcast player of choice. If you have any questions or would like to reach out to us, please email podcasts@cvcs.org. On behalf of the school, this is Mr. Jasper, the executive producer of the podcast network. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for more.